Welcome to my channel and welcome to the video about my April plans. In April I would like to color a lot of flowers and of course I intend to color at least one Easter page. For now my favorite is Easter picture from Matchstick Mouse. Well, Matchstick Mouse is definitely my favorite. You may notice it in March and I intend to continue coloring it in April. I don't think that I will be able to finish the whole book until the end of spring, but I will try to do as many pictures as possible. So for Easter, of course, I selected this adorable page where the whole company of our heroes, Mouse and all friends, they are gathered to paint eggs. So this will be my choice number one, and if I have more free time, then I will try to select pictures where Mouse goes for gardening. There are pictures where they try to plant seeds, where they try to do other garden activities. I always love gardening theme, so that will be my second choice for Matchstick Mouse book. Another page with spring flowers I wanted to select in Symphony by Kanoko Yakuza. And in the beginning I was looking at this spread. Yes, it's beautiful, but maybe that's too much for me for April. And then I remembered about another one. It's just one page, not a spread, so maybe it will be easier to color it. Here we have a really nice selection of tulips, hyacinths. This one, it looks like primula probably. And here maybe that's apple or maybe something else. I don't know, but I imagine that it will be very colorful because of the variety of flowers. And of course, look at these adorable mice which are hidden inside of the tulips. So this will be my another page with flowers. The biggest shame for March is that I didn't color in my Lady Spring. I promised to color something here. I selected anemone page, but I didn't have enough inspiration or enough time. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but I still have 2 more spring months, so anemone or maybe something else, but I definitely need to color something in this beautiful book. I do love variety of pictures here. I do love paper quality where you can use both watercolors and pencils. So maybe I need to push myself a little bit more and not to leave it until the last days of the month. I planned like on the last week of the March I will do something in Lady Spring, but then my inspiration and my activity level dropped and I decided that I will better color it in April. So please wait for me. Another difficult story in March I had with mythographic magical airs. I finally colored my first page, but there maybe I was a little bit more invested in using several brands of pencils. I mixed polychromos, Prismacolors, Sucolors, trying to find what is the best. And somehow, even if I do like what I got on the first finished picture, it was a little bit challenging. I was tired when I finished that page. So instead of doing second page, I decided to postpone coloring this book. But I want to color here because I really want to get used to the style of Joseph Kettenbach. I think that I already got used to the style of Fabiana Attanasio, and now I want also to start coloring in the books created by Kettenbach. The first page was a little bit like a resolving puzzle. Now I selected slightly less detailed and more simplified pictures, and most of them also have flowers. They even resemble a little bit those bells similar to hyacinths. Not exactly the rest of the flower looks like hyacinth, but They are beautiful in their fantasy way. We have this dancing fairies, so maybe this one, or maybe next page. This one it's even more simple. We have only very detailed landscape inside of the keyhole, very beautiful fantasy country with some waterfall with bridges and with mountains. So really very interesting, but not very big. And the rest of the page I think that I can do quite quick. You know that I love to color methyl, so all those keys I can color easily. I just need to select which color I can use for the background. To color it quicker, I can also use maybe gouache or maybe watercolors. So one of these two pictures I intend to color in March. We will see which one will be the final choice. Another flower book. It's this tiny beauty. Yeah, it's Coloriage Wild number 2. I hadn't colored yet in these books, so maybe April could be a perfect time. First, it has a lot of various flowers. As my first choice, I selected this one. I think mostly because of the bird, but the flower was also quite beautiful. And I also need this book because I want to test my crayons. Last summer for my birthday I received several Tim Holtz distress crayons, and I tested them just one time. I was surprised that I didn't dissolve in water as nicely as Neocolors, and after that I hadn't used them. Now my friend gave me another set of crayons, and she also was quite unhappy with them. Different brand but the same problems. They don't reactivate it with water quite well. So now I have two sets of crayons to experiment, and I decided that maybe on this really very good paper, quite similar to watercolors, I finally will manage a way how to use those crayons for the background, because I need them. They have beautiful colors. Yes, I have my Neo colors, which are perfect for water, but some of their colors are very intense, and distress crayons, they have more delicate pastel shades, what I need for the backgrounds in this book, more suitable for the style. I just need to find a way how to use them, so it will be page for experimenting. And good thing that in this book we have two copies of the same picture, so if I mess up with this one, I will be able to do it with more traditional way, with watercolors, with pencils, for the second copy. Another book for experiments, it will be these dragons, because in March I purchased new watercolor paints by Ukrainian company Rosa. They created several new granulating watercolors. And they are quite interesting. Of course, I will do a separate video with testing, with swatching. Those colors, they are mostly muted, dark and granulating. Granulating means that they create interesting stains and texture. But they require good paper, and this book is perfect because it has good paper for watercolors, and those strange granulating colors, they are quite good for fantasy designs, exactly what I need here. And it's such a shame that one and only picture here I did probably 4 years ago. Book is beautiful, so I don't have any explanations why I have only one finished work here. Maybe it's time to finally start coloring something here. Okay, next we have ivy. I promised my patrons that I will continue to color in ivy. In March I did several pictures. It was challenging. I realized that I totally lost all my skills how to do interesting leaves and flowers in Johanna's books. I tend to color in more realistic ways, so all my leaves are green, background is mostly blue, but in Johanna books much more interesting to use unusual color combos, not very traditional colors for the leaves, for the flowers. And that's what is very challenging for me, very difficult. So I decided that maybe in April I will select something more simple. I have here, of course I lost my bookmark, that's normal. Yeah, this one. Oh well, it looks very detailed, very crowded, but I was immediately attracted to these flowers. I love their shape, they are beautiful, and I do love those tiny bluebells. I hope that I will color them something apart from blue, because it's very simple to do them blue. I imagine that background here will be in a magenta, violet, maybe together with blue colors. And starting from the background, then I will try to select colors for the rest of the things here. Well, to color in Johanna for me it's really a very challenging, very difficult, so please wish me luck that I don't mess up with this page because I like it. Another promise was to start coloring again in the books by Tomislav Tomic. You know that I consider his books as one of the most beautiful, but in the same time, for me, they are one of the most difficult to color. Maybe because of the amount of details. Even if I prefer to do color planning and if I can't imagine basic colors for the most important element of the page, I simply never start to color. Still, usually I do some coloring mistakes when I start to color pictures, and some of the elements, even secondary elements, I can select color which in the final picture it look like something alien, something different, which distract attention or doesn't match the rest of the colors. Maybe, yeah, that's because of the very detailed pictures and I never know where to start, from the background or from the main element. I hope that my next attempt will be more successful. Anyway, that's shame that last time I used it maybe 2 years ago. And in Villain's Son, I have this fairy as my first choice. Both my books, they are Croatian editions, so I can use only pencils. I would love to use watercolors, but I am afraid that paper won't allow me to do it. I know that people color in Croatian edition with watercolor paints also, but I don't want to risk. I am not very confident in my skills. So this fairy is my choice in Villain's Son. I just need to find many different green colors because I would love to do those green leaves and maybe also green frame, but in different shades and hues of green. And if I select Zemlya Snova, then I would do couple of adorable elves. I wanted to color this one for a long time because I do love this guitar. Now all the details here are gorgeous. From this one, carved wood, to the top part. I do love this singing bird and how elf looks. But what is slightly bothering me is the look of this frame. That part of the plants, leaves, they are just cut on top of the book. And this frame, usually I do quite contrast color of the frame. Like if I do very light blue background here, usually I do quite contrast and even dark color for the background. But how I will finish this one? Until this curve or until the top of the page, it will look a little bit strange that frame is only on the 3 sides. Well, that's my biggest challenge. Maybe I think too much, but I can't start doing it because I can't decide what to do with the background, and I don't want to postpone it and to select something else because central part of the page is very beautiful. Actually, on the right we have similar problem, how to color it until this border or until this border. So something is not exactly easy with this frame, and as soon as I resolve how to color this frame, I will start to color in Zemlya Snova. Please, again, let's hope that I will finally start to color in Tomic again, because books are beautiful, and the longer you postpone returning to it, the more afraid you are. And I don't want to be afraid of my own books. And finally, of course, I intend to color in Teresa Goodrich. Somehow in the last months, I more and more fall in love with country kitchen charm. I think that I want to color maybe 80% of this book. I only dislike those pictures with collages and letters. The rest is amazing. But I had to select something, and in my absolutely need to-do list is this beauty. I think that this bouquet is one of the best, maybe the best bouquet which Teresa Goodrich created in all her books. A variety, realistic look of flowers, everything here is perfect. But we also have many interesting and yummy things here on the foreground. Just look at this jar of jam strawberry, and many interesting things on the shelves. So very detailed but very interesting page. Another one which I absolutely want to do is this kitchen herbs. I do love the theme of kitchen herbs in cross-stitch designs and in coloring, and I think that we can do something very interesting here. Well, this one is much easier comparing to this one. I just will try to combine various greens from Prismacolors, from Polychroma sets, trying to do leaves of various kitchen herbs in different shades. And the third one, it's totally different style of kitchen. It's more vintage style. I think that for now I hadn't colored any white wood. I usually select various shades of beige or brown, reddish brown, but here I imagine quite dark color of the wall and almost a white faded color of the cupboard here. That's my initial planning, and I hope that I will manage to put this idea on the paper. Well, 3 pictures, probably I won't do all of them in April, but then I move my plans to May. And why I put my plans to May, that's because in April I also want to color Spring Scenes. That's not my favorite book by Teresa Goodrich. It's one of her earliest, and I would say that some of the pictures have excessive amount of black lines, some look a little bit childish, but one picture here it's my total love, and it's a Venice landscape. This one, very interesting, but at the same time very difficult, because we need to color all those Venice palazzo. We have this flower market on the foreground, then somehow you need to color this Venice canal channel with all those reflections of the bridge and of the gondolas, all the boats. So it's complicated, but I think that at least one page in spring scenes I need to do during the spring season. Maybe the rest of the pictures here I won't be coloring, but Venice I promise at least to start. Well, that's my plans for April. I know that I can do only part of them. Usually I do 50% of my finished pictures from my to-do list, which I plan in the beginning of the month, and then 50% is spontaneous coloring. It is actually good because I never bored. It would be a little bit boring to use only plant books. Sometimes I love to go to my shelves to select book which I hadn't used for a long time and to do something apart from my plants. But I hope that many of the pictures which I shown you today I will show you in the end of the month finished in full color. Thank you, and I hope that you also have quite huge and adventurous April plans.